Taiwo, in the specific case of the Chrisland School, what would be your recommendations to the school, to the parents involved, to government? Some people are already recommending that, look, psychologists should be brought into this matter to attend to the children involved. But maybe you have some other views.
Well, thank you very much, Doctor. Number one is the fact that, first for the parents, we need to do more. A lot has come out between when this matter happened and now. We need to do more. We must first we must pay attention to our children. We are dealing with Gen Z and Gen A, Generation A. That is Generation Z and Generation Alpha. These are digitalized children. They are far ahead of us in terms of technology. We are digital aliens. They are digital natives. It is important for us to begin to have a sit down with them to understand how their mind is working and to understand how we can begin to guide them with their own contribution. Very, very important. That's number one. Number two, and the way to do that is to begin to see how we can inculcate positive value system in our children, provided we represent it and exemplify it. That's number one. Number two is that schools need to do more. I believe that Chrisland School, has in place a child protection system codified into policy, broken down into processes. But you see, a lot of lessons have come out of this case, and there's a lot of lessons to be learned. And that's how societies develop. I told someone, the fact that you have a child protection policy codified into processes, codified into a child protection policy system in place, codified into a policy, broken down into processes, does not mean things will not happen. It gives you when things like this happen, gives you an opportunity to look at the loopholes, things that you need to do, and things that you need to improve, lessons that you need to learn, because there's no child protection system that is going to envisage all the crises that can happen at a time. Number three, for these children, I think if you are not careful, at the end of the day, Chrisland will be reopened. At the end of the day, the parents will be okay. At the end of the day, bloggers will smile to the bank. At the end of the day, NGOs will report to their funders that the deed has been done. At the end of all of that, everybody goes to bed. But what happens if nothing is done is that the destiny of these children also goes to bed with all of that. So that is why we have to now pay ultimate, absolute, critical attention to these children. They must get all the help that they need in terms of medical help, in terms of psychosocial support. I think there has to be a liaison with the Lagos State government, because I think they do a lot of work with Mirabel Center. Mirabel Center has to be brought in. They've been in the forefront for so many years, solving this problem. What is beautiful about them is that they have one-stop place where you get medical support, get psychosocial support, and it is professionally done. I think that is necessary. And if parents decide to use services of private therapists, it's very, very important. But we cannot leave these children in the lodge. We cannot just leave them and feel that everything is going to be okay. Everything will be okay if we make it okay. But if we don't do the necessary, we don't do the right thing to make everything okay, I can assure you that things will degenerate for those children. Because what is going to happen is that attention is going to go away for these children. Once this news stop trending, we will look for another news. But the challenge is that the impact of this thing that has happened, we continue with it. And I want to beg parents, I want to beseech them by the mercies of God. I want to beg advocates, I want to beg media people. Let us exercise a lot of restraint when it comes to publishing all of these things. Sex tapes of child porn, according to how the Cybercrime Act 2015 has described it, sharing all of these things, we have to be careful. If nobody shares it, it's not going to spread. A lot is now happening, and it is important that we pay attention to our children. Their destiny is important to us. That's why Mandela said, there's no greater level to judge the conscience of a nation than to look at how they treat their children. Let's be more careful with our children in terms of responding to situations like this.